Hey guys, it's Caleb Goldner from ComicsAlliance. This week we are reviewing the Kamen Rider Gaim candy toy line, which is from Bandai, who makes all the other Kamen Rider toys. These are sort of like 3 3/4 inch sort of G.I. Joe, Star Wars, Marvel Universe scale action figures that come with candy. They're sold in like supermarkets and convenience stores in Japan. I found mine at a Japanese kind of like Pan-Asian supermarket where I live. I've already opened up my version of Gaim, and I'm going to unbox Kamen Rider Baron and Kamen Rider Ryugen, who are two other kind of fruit samurai from the show. Now, since I already reviewed the other Gaim figures that are out in the larger scale, the AC Arms Change Gaim, I'm going to just go ahead and put this dude to the side and we'll just unbox these two guys so that you can see what they have to offer. Now, both of these cost, I think, like $6 to $8. They're not very expensive, and it's kind of great because they pack a lot of punch into a very small size, and they're very affordable. You can pretty much collect the whole line. The only thing, of course, is the lines themselves aren't very big. This line specifically has 4 toys in it so far. Gaim, of course, Baron, Ryugen, and then there's not a 4th figure, since this line is all about unlocking different fruit powers. Like the other figure is pineapple arms and strawberry arms, and they're in the shape of the fruit from the show, and you can take them apart and pop on armor and weapons into each figure, and they're all interchangeable. So this is Baron right here. Let me show you the box real quick. This is what he looks like when he's fully assembled. They all have kind of the same basic body, and then you take apart the fruit. As you can see here, you got orange, grape, pineapple, strawberry, and then he's got his default armor is banana. So he's got banana shoulder pads. He's got his peeled banana spear thing, and a visor that's kind of got the banana thing happening. So when you open up the box, it's cool. You've got the basic figure here in the middle, and then you've got his main armor on the side, his weapon, and in this bag you've got, let me grab some scissors, decals to put on the figure. Now, personally, I am terrible at putting on decals and will do almost anything to avoid putting them on. I really prefer, I think, from building model kits and stuff, I will just get a paint pen. This is just an example. You can get Gundam markers, or there's other paint pen options on the market. The Sharpie ones are just cheap and they're easy to find. And the gold and the silver ones especially, which are the main colors that you'd want to use in this line for their armor, they work super well. The other colors, not as in love with, but the gold and the silver work great. So we'll go ahead and dump everything out. I'm not going to apply all the decals just for the sake of time, but I will show you what they look like on the sheet here. He's actually got a lot. The one decal that works really good on Gaim, works really well, is the Lockseed decal on the belt. That's pretty easy to put on as long as you're careful. And with Gaim, he came pretty fully painted. He also had his kind of like helmet accessory decal thing. That was kind of important to put on. I didn't want to do that all since there's line work with paint pens, but as you can see, he's missing a lot of his normal gold piping on his like thighs and his wrists and his gloves and his feet. I'm going to do that later. So Baron actually has even less, like Gaim came with a lot of paint on him. Baron has a little less, but as you can see from his armor, it's already pretty fully painted. So once you pop it on, with the exception of his belt buckle that activates the lock seeds, which are his like fruit-based armor and weapon abilities, he's gonna look a little more bare on. Sorry. And I'll show you on the show the Arms Change series, which has, like, just like in the show, a giant metallic fruit comes from a hole in another dimension and lands on their head, and it folds out into armor and weapons, which is wonderfully goofy. The Candy series is sort of just like a base piece that is a stand that holds all their armors together. So you're left with something that's keeps everything together and makes it look just like it does on the show, but you have to actually do the mixing and matching yourself. You can't just pop it on. And so we'll go ahead and put on his back piece and his shoulder pads, which go like this, and his chest piece. Gaim's chest piece was more or less fully painted. Baron's here requires a big old decal. I might put that on. And the flat surface decals stay on really well. It's the ones like anything that's a cuff that wraps around the wrist or the ankle. That's a little more fidgety. Those are the ones I don't really dig, and recommend just using a paint pen on if you want, or you can just leave them like this. They don't quite look exactly like the show, but you know, their leg pieces are painted, and if you can get a few of them on, like especially for the belt and then just the main armor, they look pretty close to the show. And for the price, it's not bad. So like I said, I'm not going to put on his Loxy decal. You can just imagine what it looks like based on what it looks like on Gaim. And this is pretty much Baron. They have ankle articulation, knee articulation. This is a ball joint on the ankle, by the way, so it's really flexible. They have ball jointed thigh articulation. They don't twist at the waist or anything, and they don't have an ab crunch joint. It's not a big deal, especially at this scale of figure, especially because they can move so much and pivot so much on their thighs. But that's just something you should know in case it's important to you. They don't have a wrist joint, but they do have an elbow that can pivot, so that's not so important. And they have ball jointed shoulders, and then just a normal kind of swivel ball jointed head. So that's actually better than just a normal swivel head. They can pull off a lot of unique poses, which is important with characters who don't have like a masked face instead of a fully exposed face. I'm going to put him down, and I'm going to open up the next guy, who is grape flavored. He is the main character's buddy. Baron is kind of his rival. And he has like a projectile ranged weapon, which in this case is like a grape blaster. And I'm going to show you something because this is also important, I guess. This is what the candy looks like. They're called candy toys because they come with fizzy candy, and these are the nutrition facts. In case you're planning on buying like 300 of these, they don't have a lot of calories, only 16. Sweet. And they're pure sugar. No nutritional value whatsoever. Before I open this one, I forgot to show you one of the coolest parts about these toys. If you like packaging, this packaging is made to be opened. These toys are made to be played with. Instead of printing like an extraneous manual, like a lot of the premium action figures come with something nice that's printed out on white paper. Candy Toys make the most of their packaging, and they print the instructions on the inside of the box. So they waste no space, they keep the figures affordable that way, and you get full decal application instructions in here, which is really cool. I really like the use of the box. I wish there were more toys like this in the US. I think it'd be a little easier to pick up a lot of characters that I liked for less money and much faster, and no fuss, no muss. You know, I love the Fig Arts and D-Arts and all the premium toys, but they have like tons of accessories, tons of hands, and they're a pain to store. And also, you know, these are smaller, so when you get sick of looking at them or you don't have any space, you can pop them in a shoebox or something and not feel too bad, and you can revisit them later. So yeah, let's open up this dude. Opens exactly the same. You got a little pull tab up top. You can just rip right open. And you dump everything out. Some more candy. I haven't tried this candy. I showed you the nutrition facts, but I haven't tried it yet. I think it's like citrus flavored, which is fitting because the show's got the fruit motif. I don't think the candy differs in flavor from figure to figure, so like I don't think that this is a grape flavored candy. Gaim doesn't have an orange, Baron doesn't have banana, I don't think. I think it's all just one kind of general citrus flavor. I'm gonna stop right now and I'm gonna say that this is my favorite thing on all like Japanese toy packaging. This little Pac-Man dude who's choking and crying. Actually, I have it upside down. Yeah, see how sad he is from eating a small part? Don't do that. Not a good idea. It's not a good look. And I'll go ahead and peel open his box so we can see the manual for this guy. Let's see what he's got to offer. So, same setup as the other figures in the line, and actually something I forgot to mention that I'll demonstrate here in a second. These figures all kind of can be popped into individual segments for all their different body parts. So you can mix and match not just their armor, you can mix and match all the pieces on these figures really easily, which is a nice, you know, play feature tacked on to the experience. Especially if you're a kid who these toys are meant for. I think if I were a kid, I would prefer these to the more upscale toys because you could break them and it's not a big deal. Bandai makes candy toys, or has been for the past couple of years, for all of its kind of superhero shows, its Super Sentai series, its Kamen Rider shows, and I think a few more things. A couple of its like mecha shows. And they're all pretty much compatible. But they're hard to find and they're kind of expensive on the secondary market. You can find them on like Amazon and eBay if you can't find them at a local store. Sometimes you'll see them at conventions. But your best bet, see, you can pop the head apart. And you can mix and match heads across different figures, which is fun. You can pop them apart. This guy has an extra thing, by the way. He's got like this articulated part of his armor. I don't know what you'd call that. We're going to just call it an articulated part of his armor, because I'll call it something goofy and wrong. You can pop apart the thighs. He's kind of got some dark plastic, so I don't know if you can see it too well. And to keep these figures light, yeah, they have like a divot out of the back of their calves. It makes the figures, you know, kind of more hollow, super light, you know, thin plastic. But they're still, you know, nice and sturdy, and they're very easy to customize because, oh, check it out, I broke this dude, but I didn't break it. That's just how they work. You don't have to prime them necessarily. Like a paint pen won't stick as well as if you primed a figure and then you use spray paint or an airbrush or even paint pens on top of primer. If you're really serious about customizing these and giving them a flashy paint job, you probably want to do that. Or you can just pay, 30, 40 more bucks and get the Figuarts version that's already super detailed and painted. But it's fun to customize them. So, follow your heart, man. I'm going to show you this guy's armor. It will also require some decals, and he's actually got, I think, the most decals in the line, which for me is a bummer. I do not want to be messing with all these stickers, man. And one thing I'll say about the decals, if you're not super good at applying decals, if you mess it up, the stickers and the adhesive isn't that resilient, so you kind of got to get it right on like the first try, maybe the second try. Any more than that and you're looking at probably just goofing up the whole thing. He needs a lot of decals, especially to fill in like the purple spaces on the grapes on his chest armor. But his shoulder pads are pleasantly painted, and you can probably get a purple. I don't know if they make a metallic purple paint pen, or Sharpie does anyway, but you can get by like this. It's not the end of the world. He also has the most armor pieces because of how segmented his armor is. And so what you're left with is, man, he's got a lot of armor. His stand at the end, it doesn't stand out as well as the other dudes. It's kind of just this big piece of plastic with some pegs in it. So it's something to look out for. It makes it a little easier to lose. So we're going to pop on his armor, which you gotta kind of be careful with. It goes on both shoulders. There we go. This dude takes a second because he's got the funkiest armor of the group. Pop on his chest piece. Very simple. Very quick. And you are good to go. Just about. Why gotta be such a pain? I'm gonna leave this off. But anyway, this guy, this guy, this guy make up the whole line. You can switch all their weapons around, mix and match, just like on the show. They end up switching powers and teaming up, activating new things. It's kind of a war-based Kamen Rider series, kind of like Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, as it was known in America. And yeah, it's like the most contemporary war-based Kamen Rider show. All in all, I really like these guys, especially for the price. They're really fun. They don't replace, the Figuarts, because those are taller, way more detailed, way more articulation, a ton of paint apps, a lot more accessories, and the lines are usually more expansive, so you can get every single character from the show. That's important to fans. But of course, you pay a premium. Price is a lot higher. So if you're just looking for some of your favorite characters, pop on a desk, pop on a shelf, and spend a little bit of time customizing and applying decals to, or painting yourself, make an evening of it. Get yourself a cup of coffee and eat some fizzy candy that tastes like citrus. It's a good time. The Kamen Rider Gaim candy toys from Bandai are available now. They're online and in Japanese specialty stores, and I dig them. They're a lot of fun. They're quick, G.I. Joe-like take on Kamen Rider Gaim. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll be back next week with more toy reviews.